My name is Elaine, this is Danny, and Jacob Weisberg. Jacob is almost 8 months old. He was conceived via IVF with a donor egg. We got married kind of late in life. I was 38 and Danny was 40, and we knew we wanted kids, and I was concerned from the beginning, just in terms of our age, and wanted to make sure everything was okay. We started trying immediately after we got married, and we tried for a couple of months, and I just wanted to make sure that everything was in working order. So we talked to someone, and they said the first step was to have Danny tested. And the sperm count was a little bit low, with some little problems with the swimmers. They kind of swam in circles, which would make it hard to get pregnant. So they suggested that we immediately try artificial insemination. I don't know if it was a month or so later, we went to actually try artificial insemination, and we went in and they tested my FSH again, and they called and said my FSH was through the roof, which is not a good sign. So we consulted with the doctor, and he basically said with my FSH level was like 32, they wanted between 8 and 10. They said we could do IVF with my eggs, but because of my age and the high FSH, they gave us about a 5% chance of success. So it was either that, or we could try donor egg, which they gave us 70 to 90% success rate. So to us, it was kind of a no-brainer. I mean, we had to go with the donor egg IVF. So we kind of went through that phase quickly. Some people take years and years doing artificial insemination, IVF with their own eggs, but it was sort of clear-cut what our choices were. So we looked through the donors that they had at the clinic, and there was one that looked like she could be my sister. It was amazing. We thought it was fate, and so we chose her, and she had her cycle. She didn't have a great cycle, only about 50% of the eggs fertilized. And so we had 3 implanted, and it did not work. There were 3 frozen. We had those implanted. That did not work either. We had to start over again. And even though she looked exactly like me almost, and that was important to me, because that's one of the things you lose, through this process is, that it being my DNA. So we thought it was fate. But anyway, so we chose to go with another donor just because it was just hard after having such failures. So we started over again. We found a new donor. This time, this girl had a great cycle, 90% of the eggs fertilized as opposed to the 50. And we ended up with 18 embryos instead of 6. And we implanted 3 again. And here he is. One of them, the little tough one, implanted. And that's it. We got pregnant. I dealt with it most, during the times that I had the failed cycles. It was hard. It affects everything in terms of your understanding of who you are. It affects every part of your life. It's really incredible how profound it is. But now, it's sort of all behind me, and it's as if that didn't exist in a way. It's pretty much a non-issue. I mean, I carried him, which was, I think, really empowering to be able to do that, because everything, the blood, everything. I mean, I grew him. She helped with the initial egg. The rest was all me, and all this chunk is all me, all breast milk, huh? So, every once in a while I see something in him that reminds me of a picture of her, and every once in a while, like when people say, "Oh, he has your eyes," like in the back of my head, I know that they're not my eyes. So it's a little bit there, but for the most part, it's a non-issue. And he has little curved toes like I do. So I don't know where he got them, but it's like one toe that's curved just like mine. Right there, it's curved like that. And mine's got the same curve. My side of the family has that curved toe. So that makes me feel really, it's silly, but it makes you feel connected. Because that's the only thing you don't have, is that, when you see people whose daughter looks exactly like them, or who they have the same, whatever, nose or whatnot. That's the only thing I'm missing. So that little tiny thing makes me really happy, And I think about, even if it was my egg, or if it was that donor that looked exactly like me, it wouldn't be Jacob. And I can't imagine having anyone else be my baby. So it happens the way it's supposed to happen, I guess, even though it was hard and heartbreaking. But in the end, you have this. And what's better than this, huh? aware of it or not, to be honest. I'm not sure if I was aware or not that it was an option. But it is amazing. I mean, modern technology is just incredible. I mean, to go from finding out that, you know, I couldn't have one on my own in terms of my eggs, to having him within less than a year, it was, from that point to when I was pregnant with him. It's just incredible, because if I lived in another time, I would be, you know, considered barren and all those things. There's definitely a light at the end of the tunnel. You know, I was in a support group with a couple women, and one of them has a baby via adoption. The other one's pregnant right now with a donor egg baby. Another one has a baby, same age as Jacob, donor embryo and surrogate mother. So I mean, there's a million options out there. You definitely can have a child. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If that's what you really want, there's a way. There's a million different avenues you can take, but in the end, you know, that baby is yours.